Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. It's the show we talk about sports with comedians. Let's get ready to get this show rocking and rolling. My man Howie Bell's in the building. Howie, how you doing, sir?
What's up, good brother? How you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm all right. You know, long weekend, bro. Long weekend. I know you
Yes, sir.
understand.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. I know.
Yeah. Maurice Smith in the building too. Big Mo, what's happening?
Well, Maurice couldn't make it today. So he asked me to sit in for him. My name is Hank. Hank the whistleblower Watkins. So I'm gonna be sitting in for Maurice Smith. If that's all right with you, Frank?
I don't have no problem with it as long as he can answer the questions.
Yeah, you hear me right. I want to know well, we'll get into that one later. I'm going to do your introductions.
My man Jason Hayes is in the building too. Jay, how you doing, sir?
It's all good. As long as
So
Hank did his homework, we good.
yeah, that's right. I don't care about none of that. Like, I don't care about none of that. So we got a lot to talk about, y'all. We got a lot to talk about, man. You know, so let me get the things rolling, ready to rock and roll up. And let me first do this. Top sports and sports. Let me pull you up, man. Howie Bell. Howie, Coco Gauff won this weekend. I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the woman she played. I can't even pronounce her name. The woman she played really did not give her flowers. Like, you know, I don't know if you happen to see this story, Howie. She was so condescending and say the only reason why Coco Gauff won was because she made so many mistakes. You know what I mean? So talk
Yeah.
to me about what you know this thought process to you, Howie. Talk to me.
Well, you know what? We've seen this before, man, in sports. This is not the first time, a defeated person has, not really given the credit where the credit is due. This has happened before, and especially with somebody like Coco Brown Coco Brown. She's one of the best out there right now, young athletes. And I tell you something, man. I don't know. I just think that people hate, whether it's comes naturally or sometimes it's internally. It just comes out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hate. That's all it is what I can see. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, what is it?
Hey, you know, it's hard for me to see, but if Coco Brown was that young and running around, I'm sure she'd have been happy to see that part. You know what I mean? Shout out to Coco Brown. That's my girl, man. I love
That's my
Coco.
girl too, right? You see, I got her on my mind.
Yeah, I love Coco. Mo, excuse me, Hank, whatever. Talk to me, bro. What's your take on this, man? Because this is crazy, man, on how we, black women making history. And this is the biggest story than what Coco made for history.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw a flag on that there.
Throwing the flag.
All right. I'm saying because we need to go ahead and look at the tape. All right.
I can't play the tape. I get fined.
When we gonna look at the tape, I'm sure if we look at the tape, she got her behind whooped. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I referee a lot of American football big games. You know what I'm saying? One of them boys, he up there in that little cold place. Every other team that lost, they said, well, they didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. No. The guy who got the ring on whooped your ass. You didn't show up when you were supposed to. You weren't supposed to make them mistakes at that point in your career. If you made them mistakes, then your behind didn't belong there.
Mm-hmm. Well said, Hank. Hank. Well said, Hank. Hank the Tank.
Thank you.
Well said. Jay, talk to me, man. What's your thought process on, because Coco Gauff literally was a huge story for the first 15 minutes of it, but then the rest of the whole day, we talk about this lady who lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you what Black America heard, and also Black people around the world. I refuse to accept that little negress beat me in tennis. That is what she said, right? It was my unforced errors, it's my errors. As if she just hit the ball straight to you and then make you move around and you could just, set and, hit whatever shot you wanted to, you wouldn't have been better. So give her credit for taking whatever you wanted to do away from you and making you make the errors. Period.
Well said. Brief, straight to the point. Howie, I can't get it no better than that. I mean, he topped it off. So he got right to the point. So let's move on, Howie, and let's talk about the NBA Finals. We happened to get a chance to see, obviously, Game 2. Game 2 was a tad bit different. You might want to say. We're gonna say how a tad bit different.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Yeah,
it was a little. I say I'm gonna tell you this. I'll tell you this. OKC is still my pick to win the finals.
Yeah.
But I tell you this though. Indiana, even with that lead that OKC had, man, I still thought that they could come back. Like, it was no doubt in my mind that they could still come back, even with like 3 minutes left. So that lets me know that if I thought that, I'm sure the coaches and everybody at OKC thought the same thing. And I'm gonna tell you something, that this is a scary team, Indiana, but this is also a great series. I mean, this is going 7 games, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if OKC didn't win game 3. You know what I'm saying? And then, if Indiana comes back and win game 4. I think that this is one of those type of series, man. I love every second of it. This is really good. And for all those people that's like, oh man, this not gonna get the ratings and all this, please, man. This is, I promise you this. It'll have, watch how many people tune in on the next game. I promise you, I love it. Every second of it.
I don't know how if you love basketball, how you're not loving this series. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot better than I thought it would be. So I'm entertained. Yeah, I'm entertained about that. Hank, that's in the Hank. What do we talk about, Hank, with the NBA Finals?
Well, first of all, I'm a football guy, and when Mo asked me to step in, and I seen all them questions all about the NBA. You know how we feel about the NBA. Well, I can't say that word on here, but he told me it was a word that y'all use. He said it's named after a soap. Yeah, zest. He told me that word. I think the NBA is really zesty, but the finals, it seemed to be all right. Ain't nobody getting to no fight yet. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm more interested in the hockey Stanley Cup right now. At least they hitting each other. Ain't nobody hitting nobody, and this is the most politest NBA finals I've seen in my life. Somebody need to get the shit smacked out of them so the party gets started.
Hilarious. Jay, what's your take on that, bro?
I'm so happy that these shows are taped, man. Because I recall a guy named Jason telling you guys exactly what was going to happen when they decided to focus in on Halliburton flick the shooting ass and say, we ain't letting you just get free releases. This is what happens. This is the kind of game he's going to give you when they give him attention, right? When the team has the size to match up with Siakam, who was their best player. I don't care what you're talking about Halliburton thing. Siakam is their best player. Game 2 went the way I thought it would go. OKC would go up 20. They get bored. Indy would make a run. And then, you trying to run? You want to cut it down to 10? You know what? We're going to run back up at 25 again. You know what I'm saying? They can't play with them dudes, man. I don't care what nobody said. When they won the first game, I said it's still going to go 4-1. OKC.
Jay,
I'm standing on it.
Jay, who are the top 3? Because I'm going to throw this out there so you don't think I'm trying to attack you, because I'm not. To me, Halliburton is the 3rd best player on the team on Indiana Pacers, if you ask me. The first person is Siakam. The second person is Aaron Naismith. And the 3rd person is Tyrese Halliburton, to me. You know what I mean?
I'm going to give him second. I'm going to give him second best. But listen, I understand the argument. But Siakam is their best player, hands down.
Yeah, he definitely.
I want to say this, though. To say, Jay, that they cannot play with these boys is blasphemous. They won the first game, you know what I'm saying, on the road. And OKC, actually, if you really want to be honest, that was a must-win for OKC. Let's be honest. They did not want to go down 0-2 going into Indiana.
Howie, the 6
was
in the first game in LA too. The 6, don't you know what I mean? Remember when the Sixers played the Lakers? The
Absolutely.
Sixers won the first game in LA and lost the next 4. You know what I mean?
But Howie, you're forgetting. OKC was chilling. That was ring rust.
Was they
You know what I'm saying?
chilling?
They
They
was
were off
chilling.
7 days. They were off
They
7 days.
closed out. They was chilling. It was ring rust. The Pacers already been playing, and understand this: they were one flicked jump shot away from being up 2-0 in this series. Because Halliburton doinks that joint, we ain't having the same conversation. You know, we talking about a sweep. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm telling you, I'm watching the games. It's a bad
Well, I mean, you
matchup
know,
for the Pacers.
if was a fifth, we'd be drunk right now. So let's
Right.
stick to that. We ain't talking about ifs and what ifs and that. We living in real time right now. Them boys went in and won game 1. OKC won game 2. Even series, boy. And I'm telling you, I got OKC as no chance in my book. When I'm telling you, Indiana is not to be played with. Don't downplay them boys and say they can't play with them. That's blasphemy.
Well, I'm
4-1 would be the series.
gonna say this. You know, them boys in Indiana, they look pretty tough. They look like they out. You know, they out
play
about their
every
money.
second. Don't hey,
You know,
referee.
but I'm gonna
They play
say
every
this.
second.
Thibodeau ain't
I'm gonna say
coaching.
this. I'm gonna say this, right? But I'm gonna say this because them boys in Indiana told OKC, "Hey, y'all on my corner," and OKC is gonna let them know we may be on your corner, but your corner is on my block.
I'm gonna say this.
Listen, Thibodeau ain't coaching OKC, bro.
I'm telling you right now, it's about to go down. All right, we on your corner, but your corner's on my
I'm gonna
block.
say this to all 3 of y'all, so y'all can't say I didn't say this. I have a funny feeling, and I don't know what it is. I'm watching Indiana play, and I just get I get vibes that this could be the biggest upset in NBA Finals.
Could
history.
be. Could very well
I
be.
get that vibe a lot because
We ain't
if
seen the
Indiana
same stuff.
plays a little bit better basketball in certain aspects of the game, they even win game 2. You know what I mean? They literally
Listen,
game 2.
But Frank, you
I'm
understand
getting
this?
that
You
vibe.
gotta understand why
Do
they're
you
playing
get that
badly.
vibe
You sound like a
before
tennis
or
player
after
right
you
now.
drink?
I can't hear all 3 of y'all talking, bro.
No, what I'm saying is you gotta understand why they played so poorly. You sound like a tennis player right now. If only I didn't have unforced errors. You know what I'm saying? They're playing badly because OKC makes them play badly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of the matchups and how they're playing them. And it's not gonna change.
Listen, I hear everything you're saying. All I'm saying is I get these vibes because Indiana if a lot of those shots they missed are going to go in Indiana. You know what I mean? A lot of them.
But
And the bench players are going to play better in Indiana. So, and Indiana right now has home court advantage. You know what I mean? So, and Indiana is one team in the playoffs. This particular year, they play real hype at home. Like they're more motivated at home than the average team. They get real hype at home. It's not like how the Knicks, you know, people are screaming at the Knicks, and the Knicks don't raise their level. Like the Knicks play the same way, whether they're home or away. But Indiana and even the Celtics played worse at home than away. But the Indiana Pacers play literally dramatically better in Indiana because their bench role players are playing. But that's why I'm saying, listen,
that's not how the finals is going, Frank.
Huh?
You're taking the goalposts and you put it over here because the narrative was how big of the road warriors the Pacers were. Going to people's buildings all playoffs long and winning. So now they're better at home. That's not true because the Knicks smacked them in Indiana.
I'm not saying they're better at home. I'm just saying that they play a little bit better at home. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying they are better, but they play better. They're not necessarily on the record wise, but they play better. They have more motivation. That's all I'm saying.
They play better on the road.
Yeah, statistically,
this playoffs, they play better on the road.
I'll just say this. I still get this vibe because the way they came back, bro, they came back last night 2 or 3 times down. I don't know, man. I think they go get that next game.
Listen, they not winning not one more game.
Well, when they did come back, when they did come back, what was the closest they came? They only got back to about like 7 points, I think, in the third quarter, maybe 13 or 7. I can't remember what it was. They never really got that close. So, like I keep trying to tell you, man, you know, you can go ahead and knock at the door all you want. If I don't open it, you ain't coming in, man. They ain't getting in.
All right, let me
tell you this though.
The boys are cheeks, baby. They cheeks. They cheeks right now.
For you to say they will not win another game,
not
that means
nothing.
You see a gentleman's sweep coming.
Hey, Howie.
Yeah,
you live in Detroit, right? You know what Southern people? You know what nothing mean? Not a nothing.
All right.
Not a
All right,
nothing.
Howie. So here you go, Howie. I'm moving the conversation on. I want to
Yeah.
talk about two more things actually before I get into the top 5 things. We got a little bit of time. Last year, San Antonio drafted Stephon Castle. He was the rookie of the year. At the deadline, they traded De'Ron Fox. Now they're expected to take Dylan Harper with the second pick, because believe it or not, the San Antonio Spurs now, not only did they get a good pick last year and a good pick the year before that, now they got the second pick in the NBA draft again. And this time they got everybody's saying they're going to probably get Dylan Harper, who's a 6'5" lefty. Now, people are sitting there saying the San Antonio Spurs really, literally are an embarrassment of riches the last couple of years, because obviously it all started with Wemby. And do you think they're going to make a trade and get a iconic player? And the only reason why I'm asking you this is because you know who I heard that they sitting there literally talking about getting today, and you know his name has been going to be thrown around for the last couple of days. Is Giannis. The people are saying that San Antonio Spurs are one Giannis player away from adding to them to be a championship roster. And I thought about it, and I looked at the roster, and I looked at what they're doing. I'm like, you know what? If Giannis goes there, he could turn the San Antonio Spurs into definitely a championship team. What's your take on that, Howie?
I think the San Antonio Spurs are always a step away from being a championship team. They got a great organization. I mean, they've been proving it for years. I mean, Pop was the man for a long time. I don't know. I don't see them. They could do whatever they want to do, as far as I'm concerned. If they get rid of that second pick and get Giannis, it's a wrap. You already know that they're gonna pop it. If they don't get Giannis and get the second pick, I think they're still good. I mean, it's just one of those teams similar to OKC, what you talked about before, how they're just kind of stacked. Maybe not as stacked as OKC with all the picks coming up. But I tell you this though, San Antonio ain't got nothing to worry about. If they want to make a move, they can. If they don't, they ain't got nothing to worry about. They playing with house money.
Yeah, they are definitely a team of the future. Let me ask Hank what his take on this is. Hank, what's your take on this? Giannis goes to San Antonio, and if so, are they a championship team with or without him?
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of pork chops. You know, so I know you northern boys don't eat pork. That's on your fault. You know, where I'm from, you know, I eat a pig's ass as long as they cook it right. So I'm a big fan of pork chop. And you know what? Sometimes my mama used to make smothered pork chops. You know what I'm saying? But no matter what, it's still a pork chop. It's just a better pork chop. I say that to say this. San Antonio is going to be tough, no matter whether they keep what they got or add on to what they have. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we've never seen San Antonio trade for a marquee name. They may trade in for role players or people to fill in positions, but name a marquee name that they pulled in that took over. Everything they had was homegrown.
That's his take. What's your take on this, Jay?
Wow, Hank is way smarter than Mo. I can tell you that. Mo never would have came up with that shit. So for me, basketball is about chemistry, right? And I don't care who they trade for, veteran, new player, or otherwise, Wemby's their best player. So I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna cause problems to set back Wemby. If you bring in Giannis, he's not a perimeter scorer, man. Right. So now, if Giannis comes in, he got to be in the paint, which means that Wemby can't be in the paint. Or who's going to be in the paint? You got two guys who need to occupy the same real estate. So to me, I think it sets them back because he's a name and he's all these things or whatever, but he's not going to be able to mesh with Wemby and how they need to play.
Jay, I mean to cut you off, but the Spurs have done it before. They had the Twin Towers. You got to remember that. David Robinson,
they were highly skilled, Howie. You know what I'm saying?
And they played down low. What Jason is saying is that they play too much. What's his name? Plays too much in the perimeter, and he's not playing down low. He's played half his game is coming straight down to the basket and attacking. The other half is shooting jumpers. You know what I mean? But
for that to happen, Wemby has to clear out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which means that Wemby can't be near the rim.
Right. But Wemby's game, though, a lot of it is shooting. He likes to shoot. And I know over the the season, they were like, bro, you need to go back and close to the basket. He was shooting more
That's it.
threes than he was twos, and
Right.
but yeah, but
Nobody needs a 7'6" jump shooter, bro.
Yeah. You need to be, if you're 7'6", you need to be down in the basket, bro, trying to score the ball. Last thing I want to jump into, man, and literally is Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders are all in the conversation right now, trying to figure out who the Cleveland Browns are going to start. And you know what I heard today, bro, in Boston radio? They literally saying if Shedeur Sanders doesn't step it up, that they might actually cut him. You know what I mean? He's on the block to be cut. Nice. So I got to ask you, Howie. I think it's insane to even have this discussion. But do you think Shedeur Sanders would be cut?
No. You know what? I did not hear this story. But if that's the case, what's going on in Cleveland? Like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what they're doing with that boy. You know what I'm saying? And what they're trying to play around with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I if he's going to get cut by him, so what? Cut him. Let somebody get him that's going to make use of him then. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case. If they don't appreciate his skill set or his talent or his upside, let him go. Let him go somewhere where he can be appreciated. That's some kind of game going on with him, man. And I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of hearing this right now. But I don't know. My first take on that would be if you don't want to use what you have, release him so somebody else can take advantage of it.
I just don't like, personally, I don't like that they even have this conversation because the Cleveland Browns suck all the way around. Like, I mean,
that's what's weird. That's the weirdo stuff about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, Hank, this is your thing. You in football.
Okay. On Cleveland. It's on Cleveland. First off, I'm going to say this, right? If I was Shedeur Sanders, after the third round of the NFL draft, I would have dropped out, picked up the phone, and called The Rock. I'd have took me and all the cameras that were on the draft with me to the USFL. But I can go over there and I will be a superstar. That's my advice to him. My advice to him is screw Cleveland. Leave before they even fire you. It ain't like you hurting. You can go over to the USFL and call up Doug Flutie. Call Herschel Walker. They'll tell you what it's like to go ahead and start your own franchise.
Jason, ain't it good that he just a referee and not an agent?
I think that Hank called up Mo and asked him what he thought about that.
And then said something to him, right? Yeah.
I think Hank way smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a Mo consultation. Okay.
No. Listen to me. The boy ain't gonna get treated right no matter where he go in the NFL. So this is the culture of not being canceled. Go ahead and start your It's not like he doing it for the money. He just won't play. Well, go where you gonna be appreciated at.
Okay. Jay, what's your take on this, bro?
Well, as the other resident Southerner in this group, along with Hank, there's a saying down south that say, "Tell the truth and shame the devil." Yeah. Right? Which means that you don't run from that, man. You know, you go out there and you show through just sheer truth of how much you are the truth that these people lying their asses off over here. Right? Now, I don't know who you listen to that said that. It must be the Southie out somebody's basement. We hating on Shedeur Sanders podcast or whatever. I don't know what that is. But everything I've been seeing, ESPN, Fox Sports News, you know, the Shadys of the world, you know, all these other NFL players, they're saying that Shedeur is the best quarterback in their building. And I've heard that universally across the board. Now, where they getting this information from, I don't know where the hell they're getting that from, because I ain't heard nobody legitimately with ties to the NFL, with players on the roster who can make those calls, say anything other than he's the best dude in the building. He's going to start possibly week 1. So if they're saying that, I don't know where the information is coming from.
Jason, all you got to know is this: it's Boston radio, bro, and it's one of the reasons why it's the worst sports radio town, if not the worst. It's definitely one of the worst. I think it's the worst in the city, in the country. I ain't even gonna lie.
It gotta be. You talking about they gonna cut Shedeur Sanders, the number one seller in Jersey? Are you kidding?
I'm just saying. This is the reason why we in this, and that's the reason why we eat this, and that's the reason why Steve and I, White Chocolate, I started our own Boston Sport because we thought it was so bad. We got to say something. We got to pick up Mr. Say Something. So that's the reason why we started that. But
You need to record that.
Howie, let's jump into what we wanted to jump into, man. I threw out a couple of questions today. I wanted to see what you guys would say. So one of my first questions I jumped out there is, name me your top 5 performances. Not the top 5 best performances in the NBA Finals, the top 5 performances in the NBA Finals that you loved. You particularly said, you know what, that was dope. I love that. Give me your top 5 NBA performances that you loved in the NBA Finals.
Well, I'm gonna start right here, man. I don't know if y'all remember, but Kawhi Leonard, Game 4, 2019 NBA Finals, boy. That's my man, too. I can't wait to see Kawhi kind of get back to where he was. But he scored 36 points, dog. 12 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field. You know what I'm saying? That's when they took that 3-1 lead over Golden State. Let me tell you something, man. Kawhi Leonard, bro, that was one of the most spectacular performances. I don't really have these in the order, but that had to be, I guess, 5. But I tell you, man, it was incredible. Kobe Bryant, bro. Game 1, 2009 NBA Finals. 40 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Come on, man. That was the series he did without Shaq, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. It's been so many. You know what I'm saying? But that's the first 2 that I just say. Michael Jordan, Game 6, 1998 NBA Finals. How about that? You know what I'm saying? 45 points. That's when he hit that game-winning jumper. You know what I'm saying? And that was the 3-peat, against the Jazz, too. It's so many. And I'm gonna go off the top of my head. I'm gonna say the performance with Halliburton's game-winning shot in game 1. You know what I'm saying? Of this year's NBA Finals, that's gonna go on my list. You know what I'm saying? As one of the greatest, not necessarily performances, but one of the greatest clutch shots and clutch wins. You know what I'm saying? In my book. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm gonna go with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? 2016 NBA Finals. Remember Game 5? They both had 41 points apiece. Y'all remember this, boys? Mm-hmm. I mean, they kicked butt, man. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing. That was the series against the Golden State Warriors again when they made that historical comeback. You know what I'm saying? And so it's been so many great. But I got to put Shaquille O'Neal, Game 6, 2000 NBA Finals, 41 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was the 3-peat against Indiana. How about that? And let me tell you something, man. It's been some really good, spectacular ones. I went through those quick because I know we all got some great ones. But I'll tell you, those are my top 5 NBA performances. And I'm going to reiterate the Halliburton shot and putting them in there. And I just did that off the top right now. I'm going to tell you something. That's going down as one of my greatest NBA performances that I love.
Okay. All right. I like every single one you pick. Hank, give me some of yours.
Where that boy from? He talk fast, boy. I swear to God, if I ran into him on the street, boy, I had to put my money in my sock. You talk faster than a bugger. Scared the daylight out of me. Jesus Christ. Talk faster than the judge do when he took my money and gave it to my ex-wife. Well, I wrote down Jordan 1991 versus the Lakers. That was Jordan's first championship. I was refereeing an American football game down the street for where Jordan used to buy his shoehorns from. You know what I'm saying? That's how I ran into him one time. He was all right to me too. Yeah. He wore the Murray Gators. Jordan kept a whole lot of Murrays. I don't know what y'all thought he was. He got some pimp in him. Iverson versus the Lakers in 06. Even though that boy lost, he let everybody know why he was Allen Iverson. He put the world on notice that he had the right tools, Kobe and them would have went down like a sack of potatoes. How go down like my grandpa do after a wild night down at Aunt Della's house where they sell the hooch and then he come home and fall. Maurice ain't gonna like this, but I like that series Hakeem versus the Knicks. he stomped the mud hole in them boys behind. You know, them New York boys, they get to talking all fast like that one up there in the green. But I know he ain't from New York because he got that little twang in his voice. But I swear to God, Hakeem, yeah, he gave more than a dream. They got nightmares from now on. You know, I talked to Maurice. He told me about Frank, how Frank, you the man and everything. And so I picked this one for you, you know, because I don't like the Celtics either. Miami, Ray Allen, that hit, that shot right there. I only picked that one because Maurice said that it'll upset you because no matter what, y'all still
All
mad
Peter
at Ray
Sue.
Allen for leaving. Y'all still mad at Ray Allen for leaving. And Maurice texted me a little while ago. He said he gonna smack me in the mouth. I don't say Willis Reed coming out the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Don't get no better than that one.
So that's your 5? Okay. All
That's
right.
my 5 there, man.
I like your 5.
Thank you.
Jason, that was a tough 5 to sit through. he had a couple of daggers in there. He was trying to throw some daggers. All right, Jay, give me your 5 of the top 5 best performances that you loved in the NBA Finals. Not statistically speaking. I don't care about stats, but you love. You said this. Wow, this is dope.
Well, no, I care about stats. Okay. And this is number 5 for me, only because he lost the game because of a dumbass teammate. LeBron Ramon James.
I knew you were going to say
Game 1 of the NBA Finals in 2018. He dropped 51, 8 and 8. Game's tied. J.R. Smith gets the rebound. He assumes they're up. He dribbles out the clock. They go to overtime and lose. Change the series.
Yep.
That was one of the craziest performances ever because everybody knew Golden State was going to run away with it, and they didn't. Number 4 for me, I'm going to go Moses Malone in 1983. And you know, this was in game 1. He dropped 28 and 18. And now I love it because I hated the Lakers. I was a Sixer fan, and Mo made an announcement. This is what we're doing all day, Mr. 4-4-4. Swept them boys up out of there.
Yeah.
Right. So in the series, Mo averaged 26 and 18 in the series against Kareem.
Yeah.
And he out-rebounded him 72-30.
Dang.
Cap got 8 up, okay? Number 3, I'm going back to the Heat with LeBron against the Spurs in 2013. They backs against the wall. It's his first championship. It's game 6. They down. What did Bron do? 41, 13, and 5 to force a game 7 where they closed them boys out and he got his first ring. You know, to like say, all right, it was worth coming down here to South Beach. Number 2, I'm going to stay with the Heat. Dwayne Wade in game 5 in 2006 against the Dallas Mavericks. D Wade went out there. He gave them boys 43-17 in the fourth quarter. The series was tied 2-2 because of what Wade did. The Heat went up 3-2. They broke the Dallas Mavericks back, and they closed them out in game 6.
That must have been pre-Gabrielle Union.
It most certainly was. But Howard, it was in the middle of the first wife, so maybe that dude had some anger issues.
Man, oh man. Don't let Gabrielle catch you backstage at the Wild Show, Howie. She will run up on you. I'm telling you now.
Number 1 spot, Howard, you gonna love this one. My favorite performance ever because I hated the team and I hated the duo. Rip Hamilton versus the Lakers in the 2004 NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Kobe this, Kobe that.
Yeah.
Rip said in game 3, Rip said, hold these 31.
Yep.
Hold these 8 boards and hold these 7 assists. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go up 3-0 on y'all ass trying to go for a 4-peat. I'm going to tell you now, you got no shot.
Yep. And
my
that
favorite performance ever.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. I like that too.
I'm gonna tell you something real quick,
I
Frank.
hated it.
I moved back from LA to Detroit in '04, and during that time, I'm Detroit all the way, but I'm coming from LA. I'm like, man, I just saw Kobe Bryant and Shaq do X, Y, and Z. I'm at home talking big trash. And matter of fact, Kobe, I think they won the first game in Detroit. And I was like, I told y'all, man, the Detroit won the rest of the games. I was so embarrassed when I came home into that defeat. I remember that series in particular. You know what I'm saying? And Rip dropped him. I promise you I remember that.
Rip
Yeah,
ate that boy up the whole series.
Like
man.
it was yesterday. I remember that.
Yeah, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, all the boys. Like they
They
did
killed it.
They
Yeah.
did some work. All right,
See, mind you of Indiana right now.
Nah, they ain't got that.
Very interesting.
They ain't
Very,
got
very,
that.
very interesting.
Very
All right,
interesting. Yeah.
Here's my top 5 best performances, and I didn't pick the games. I just picked the year because I didn't feel like doing that deep of a homework because I was doing a couple other things. But Tony Parker, San Antonio Spurs, 2014. Y'all remember the work he did for that series? It was. I don't even think I have to even say too much more because Tony Parker did work. And if I remember correctly, San Antonio Spurs were not favored that series. Everybody thought they were going to lose. So yeah, I had to do that one. But the one I really loved was LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers coming at number 4 for me in 2016 when everybody thought Cleveland was getting ready to get smashed, like including me. I thought they were going to get smashed. I didn't even think it was going to be a series. LeBron, what he did, man, that was one of my favorite. And I'm not even a LeBron James fan, but at that time I loved it because I always loved the underdog. You know what I mean? Like I love the underdog winning.
Down 3 games.
Yeah, I love it. Come back down. What? I love that. Number 3 for me, you gotta love Kawhi Leonard on the 2019 Toronto Raptors run that he did. First, he beat the Sixers. Yeah, this was one of your things. He beat the Sixers with the ball that goes bang, comes way up there. That like it don't like that's like somebody actually scripted and wrote that. Somebody else said this. Allen Iverson, 2001, that performance. I don't know who else said that, but you have to say though that was one of the best NBA Finals performances ever. And I gotta say this. I saw somebody else write this the other day when Allen Iverson was his birthday. Everybody was like, "Yeah, he only won one game." But I had to go on the comment on Instagram and say they might have only won one game during that series, but they were in every other game after that. The Lakers didn't blow them out 4 games in those games. They didn't blow them out. They were in every game. And if certain people hit certain shots, obviously, the game changes. You know what I mean? Like Eric Snow hits that big shot that he took. Mutombo hits that shot. It's just, you go through each game and say, hey, if this one lands and that one lands, the series is different. You know what I mean? So that's it for that. But number 1 for me is the Jaylen Brown run last year because, obviously being a Celtics fan, but I loved it in particular because Jaylen Brown, what people outside of Boston don't know, Jaylen Brown was hated on and people wanted him to be traded so bad. And they talk so much trash on a national level. And they talk a lot of trash on him in the local level that people just like, he's not the best. He shouldn't be here. I was just like, man, that was redemption 101. And then when he finally did win and he put up this post, he said this, my 5th grade teacher said, by the time I was 18, I was going to be in prison for the rest of my life. I was like, if that ain't redemption, I don't know what it is. I absolutely love that for him. I love that for him. So that made me it for me. All right, so I'm gonna switch up because it's 5:39. I want to get some of these funny things in here real fast. So let me throw this in here. The top 5 things that you could do today that would get you slapped last year, yesterday, whatever. Did you things you could do that you can't do? You know what I mean? So I know you got that list ready, Howie, because we all got things that you can do today that you couldn't do before. You know what I mean? Give me your top 5.
Well, I gotta go from my own experiences. I got kids.
Right.
And family and friends and so forth. Get bad grades. I think now kids can get away with getting bad grades. I mean, they get prime send-offs and they get cars and all kind of stuff with Fs. How do they do this? and I mean that's something that will get you slapped, Jay. You understand what I'm talking about?
Killed.
Just to even ask, can I have something after a bad grade will get you slapped. So let's start there.
Asking for dinner would get you jumped, bro.
Anything. You better be quiet and humble as a puppy. You don't ask for anything when your grades are bad. And I'm telling you, I would start there.
Good start. Good start.
Eating all day, going in and out the refrigerator. When did that become a normal thing to do? I mean, you could. Matter of fact, when I was growing up, you couldn't even touch the refrigerator. You understand what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, you had to ask, "May I please go in the refrigerator and get something?" You know what I'm saying? And now the kids, they open the refrigerator and stand there with it open.
Yeah.
You got the door open, staring at what you think you might want to eat or drink, man.
And you ain't even hungry or thirsty.
You're not even hungry. You're just doing this out of habit. I'm sorry, the parent is coming out of me right now in these top 5. All right, so wearing a hoodie and a ski mask in 90-degree weather.
I don't know why they do this.
Who
bro.
you are as a parent, or if your child is doing this, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Not only should you slap them, you should choke them. You know what I'm saying? And because if you don't, the system will. Trust me when I tell you.
True.
The same dude wearing the hot clothes got a nappy hairstyle. They look like they just woke up in the alley and they got the nerve to have this part tapered. Let me tell you something. If that don't get on my nerves more than anything in the world, that would have got your ass slapped by everybody in the hood. You came up back to the hood like, look at my haircut, and it's all nappy and matted and then faded right here. You might have got beat up.
And he paid $200 for the cut.
Yeah, oh my God.
Let's let some barbers now.
The last one would be walking out the house, not only without a belt, but your pants below your butt cheeks. Let me tell you something right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. You would get slapped, beat up, and probably couldn't leave. If you tried to walk out the house with your pants below your ass, man. When I tell you that was a cardinal sin and now it's normal, and matter of fact, can be passed along as fashion. That's something that would have got your ass slapped, and I'm sticking to that. And some of y'all need to be slapped right now for that.
I agree with everything. Every one of the things you said, how your 5 is really, really good. And I don't even think these youngins know that that's a gay gesture. You know what I mean?
Ain't
that's
it?
What,
right.
That came.
That meant you was available.
But then again, a lot of them do know. Okay.
A lot of them do know.
And they invite them in. They invite them in. Yeah, they invite
Hold
them
up.
in. Hank, give me yours, Hank. I want to hear what you got. Your top 5
Well,
things.
Well, you know, this is one of the ones that I kind of like doing this one. And Howard, you funny boy. You talk fast, but you bring a couple chuckles out of a brother sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Listen, number 5, talking reckless. I'll be looking at these.
Hold on. You said 5 holding up 4 fingers.
I said number 5.
Hold up 4 fingers.
We didn't see that thumb. That looked like AI for a minute.
He said number 5 hold up 4 fingers.
Number 5, talking reckless. You know, these kids be on the social media, they be all, but they used to call cell gangsters. You know, cell gangster is a guy that he tough when the cell door locked. But soon the CEO unlocked the door, he told me, I ain't going to the yard today. Lock my door. I don't feel good. Talking reckless to get you smacked back in the day. Who you think you better not? Wearing pajamas to school. So I don't know. It seems like these kids is wearing pajamas and slippers to school. When did that become okay? Well, I understand that in public school, but wasn't there certain limitations in the dress code? What's going on? They wearing pajamas and slippers to school.
And
bondage.
And the sad thing about it, as the slippers and the pajamas together, you can buy a small trailer home in North Carolina. It's so expensive.
Very true.
Sitting in your room all day long. Why the hell you sitting in the room in front of that screen, boy, playing that video game? Get your behind up. Remember your mama used to say, go outside. Get out the house because she wanted to drink. I know my mama did. She kicked us out the house because she wanted to drink and smoke cigarettes and whatever else that got put inside a little piece of paper. But yeah, that'll get you smacked. Here's one that got me smacked. Y'all city boys might not know about this, but if you always go, huh? Say huh one too many times, you gonna get smacked. My mom always told me, if you can say huh, you can hear.
And don't say what. If somebody call you neither. Say what?
Oh, Lord.
Hey, go hey, down
Lord.
south. That's a cardinal sin, bro. Say what to somebody.
Man.
Yeah, you say what?
And
You
the
don't- if
number
you don't say
one,
damn
and the
or
number
sir,
one thing that will get you smacked back in the day, that kids today is okay with, and don't nobody say nothing with, not having a hustle. Nobody ain't shoveling no snow. Ain't no kids working at the supermarket, McDonald's, nowhere. These kids ain't got no hustle whatsoever. They
no
all
lemonade
think they
stand.
Memphis. They all think they Memphis Bleak, friends with a billionaire. You ain't Memphis Bleak, boy. Your daddy ain't no friend with Jay-Z or nothing like that. He worked 9 to 5, just like everybody else. Oh, I forgot that right. You ain't got no daddy. But whoever is taking care of you, working 9 to 5. You know, but they ain't got no hustle, no inspiration. They just looking for money to fall out the sky for some reason. We didn't know how to spend money back in the day, but we wasn't scared of making it. Don't mouth fire right there.
I like it, like your 5, Hank. Okay, so Jay, give me your 5, man, and let's see if we could agree or disagree.
Hey, I mean, listen, they should sell weed or something, Hank. I'm just saying. So, Hank and Howie, on my homework a little bit. So I'm gonna go number 5. Talking tough online, and it's just allowed to happen.
It's allowed.
It's allowed. You know what I'm saying? Like the check never happens. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever goes sees about him. You know what I'm saying? Number 4, walking around grown ass men with your whole asshole exposed.
Man.
Bro, it is so offensive, bro. I mean, it is just so disrespectful on so many levels. But hey, it's allowed to happen, bro. Dirty draws and all. Number 3, talking about other people's business in public when you got all the information wrong. Right? You should be talking about nobody business, counting nobody pocket, nobody business. They business is they business, and if you interfering, talking about it, somebody gonna come see you.
That's true. That's true.
Number 2, kids cussing out their parents, bro.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? They straight out cuss their parents out now to their face.
Everywhere too. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Supermarket,
Anywhere.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere. Yeah.
And number 1 for me, when we got you smacked and it needs to come back, stealing somebody else's style in hip hop. Like it was forbidden to sound like somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Now they go to studio saying, I want to sound like this person exactly. And then people buy it.
Yeah.
Would have got you beat up. You got handled back in the day for doing that.
Yeah.
It was a cardinal sin to be a biter.
You couldn't be a biter, bro. You couldn't
That's
bite.
right. You ain't never lie about that one, did Junior?
Yeah, that's very, very true. Very true. All right. I'm gonna skip this one because all y'all said one of mine. Like I don't have nothing new to add to that. Like I ain't got nothing new to add. And then I want to get the next category in too. So because we got time. We got 10 minutes. Let me see if we can get through these. Howie, you up first. Give me a top 5 NBA performances that you thought were highly overrated. And honestly, when I made up this question, I meant to say NBA Finals. So we'll say that for tomorrow. But give me a top 5 NBA performances overall that you thought were highly overrated.
Now, I don't know if they were overrated, but most of my picks I got on this, they did lose or some kind of in this fashion. I remember, and I'm gonna start here, and I wrote this down. I got Devin Booker, man, and I remember this. He had 70 points against your beloved Celtics, bro. 70 points. March 24th, 2017, if you forget the date. He became the youngest player ever to score at least 60 points when he poured in 70 points on 21 of 40 shooting and 24 of 26 free throws in a 130 to 120 loss.
But Howie, this is
Boston.
overrated. But this is overrated.
So what I'm saying is, but to get to my point, they lost this game. So what I'm saying is that's overrated, ain't it? He did all these heroics.
He's winning.
He did everything he had to do.
Not
really.
Win.
Not really. It's not because the performance was dope. It doesn't mean he was overrated. It just means they lost. That's all.
But what I'm saying is, but you can rate a performance like that.
You're right.
And say this was this and this was that. But you still lost.
I agree, Howard.
You know
and I got one that's similar.
You're right.
That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying that their performances weren't great. What I'm saying is they weren't as good as you say they were because they lost. You know what I'm saying? You lost the game. And so here's another one. I'm going to give you another one. Michael Jordan has 63 points versus your Celtics. April 20th, 1986.
And I was at that game.
Got swept.
Yeah. You got swept.
Yeah.
That's
I was
overrated.
At that game.
Am I on the right track here? I'm just saying that this shit is overrated. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do all these great things. Look, Karl Anthony Towns, 62 points versus the Hornets in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Yeah, 44 points in the first half, bro. They lost.
Okay.
You don't ever hear about these things. That's because they are overrated. They're not what they're supposed to be. You can do all the heroics you want to do in life, man. You know what I'm saying? And when you lose, you just lose, bro. And it becomes overrated. LeBron James, 2015 NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. Listen, man. Dog, some of those performances be overrated, bro. I'm telling you. And even though they have heroics and all that kind of stuff, dog, they still are overrated. I'm gonna leave it there. Well, I got one more for you, and I'm gonna go throwback because you always gotta go throwback. Wilt Chamberlain had 78 points. 78 points against the Lakers in 1961.
and
hey, look, he shot 31 from 62 from the field. He made 16 of his 31 free throws and grabbed 43 rebounds in 151 and 147 triple overtime loss.
All right. Like,
come on, man. Triple overtime loss. Overrated. You know why? You didn't finish the deal. You didn't get it done, and that's that. And there's a lot of games like that in all sports.
It's a team sport, Howard. Team sport, bro.
Hey, give me yours.
But that's to my point. I'm gonna finish. But that's to my point. It's a team sport. That is why some of these individual performances are overrated. Because you can do all the heroics you want, and if your team don't win, it don't mean a hill of beans.
Well, I like your picks. They're very informational. I understand your point of view. He'll mind. Number 5, I got down near Chris Bosh when he was on the Miami Heat. That boy was overrated. I called somebody else the Memphis Bleak. I like to throw that he was the Memphis Bleak of the Miami Heat that year. He was lucky to be on that team because they could have picked anybody else, and Chris Bosh wouldn't have won none another ring, not near ring at all. And then I was doing this question, and I was taking part in burning a ritual leaf rolled up in a tobacco roll. And I started thinking about foods that were like overrated when you at a playoff game or a champion like Wingstop. That is the nastiest chicken I ever had in my life. It is overrated. Why would you even bring that to the playoff or to the NBA Finals party? Don't bring no more Wingstop to the party. And then I got into other foods that I thought was nasty when you had a play like Subway. Anybody in here in the past 3 months eat a sandwich from Subway?
Nope.
That is the nastiest thing on the road. I swear to God. Howie, I know you a traveling comedian. I've done a little bit of stand-up. I know how it is. You know how sometimes you be on the road and grit what you can, but you look at Subway, you be like, no.
Well, I can't lie. I had a cold cut combo.
I'll wait till the next exit.
I had a cold cut combo.
Any soul food in Atlanta. Why every black person think they're gonna move to Atlanta and get rich and open a soul food place right down the street from where everybody cooks soul food in their own house? I don't know. If another black man put another soul food, black man or woman put another soul food joint in the hood, I'm gonna go around and we're gonna go back to the other thing. They would have got you slapped. And my last one, Domino's. That is the worst pizza in the world. I swear to God, why would you order Domino's for a Super Bowl, a playoff party, or anything like that? I'm not very versed on the NBA, but I know food that shouldn't be at a party when you celebrating championship titles. Don't order no Domino's. That's my 5.
Jay, give me your 5. Top 5 NBA performances that you thought were highly overrated.
Number 5, Jordan 63 at the Garden. Trash. We got swept 2 years in a row. I don't want to hear about this dude. Number 4, any playoff game that James Harden did anything. Because you know what?
He lost.
I know he was hella inefficient and they probably lost. So I don't care about his stats. Number 3, I'm going David Robinson's trash ass 71 against the Clippers. I just saw Dominique recently, in an interview talking about how they poured all their starters in the second half to make sure that David Robinson got off to beat Shaq in the scoring race. Trash. Overrated. Number 2, I'm going to go Kobe Bryant's 81. He took 46 shots against the Toronto Raptors, who won 30 games that season. I'm unimpressed. I don't care. And number one for everybody. I don't know how nobody didn't have this. Andre Iguodala as 2015 Finals MVP.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy.
Listen, he averaged a strong 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. While LeBron, he allegedly got it because he held LeBron in check. LeBron averaged 36, 13, and 9.
Boy, damn near had a triple-double.
Come on, dog. That's
highly
the most overrated performance in NBA or sports history.
All right, let me give you all my 5. I'm going to fly through my 5. I'm not going to even go through all it because I'm looking at the time. 5, Jamal Murray. Nah. My 4, Miles Bridges. 3, Jonathan Kuminga. 2, Paul George. And number 1 is James Harden. All of them did some stuff that I thought was all overrated in certain games. I had the games and everything else. I just don't have the time to dive into it the way I want to. So I'll say that for another time, another place. Right now, let's jump into the final thing of saying who we are, how you can follow us. Howie Bell, talk to me.
And I just want to reiterate, man, you can be, like I said, Frank, you can have the spectacular performance of a lifetime. I don't care if it's in any sport. And when you lose, it just isn't. So anyway, it just takes away. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can have all the stats in the world. So and I didn't even think about that. Kobe Bryant scored that 81 against a depleted team like that. I didn't realize that against the Raptors. So
Yeah.
Howie Bizzell, HOWIEBIZZELL. You know that on the gram. And I gotta say this, man. June 22nd, I'm one of the comedians that I'm very fortunate and very blessed to be performing for the Ronaldo Ray documentary and an overall celebration of his life and the times of him. It's a Ronaldo Ray tribute in Las Vegas, June 22nd. Your brother Howie Bell's a part of that. I gotta say, please, man, all my people in Vegas out there, please come on out. You will not be disappointed. Great documentary, great tribute for Ronaldo Ray, June 22nd.
Good
Vegas.
one. Mo? Hank?
Well, Mo ain't here, so we don't care about Mo's social media. You can follow me to see it right down there. He always stealing my glory. That's why he ain't putting no darn videos up. I think the boy mildly, well, I can't say the R word. I think he mildly slow. But anyway, you know, he on the short media bus. But you can follow me at Dysfunctional Ref on Instagram. You know, Hank the Whistleblower Watkins. I'm out here looking for a job for American football referee. Thank you very much.
Jason Hayes, filmmaker.
At JD Hayes at fan base. I'm out here.
Thank y'all for watching. The name of the show is called Box Seats on the Humor Mill channel. We will see you all tomorrow. Thanks again. We're going at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thanks. See y'all soon.